morning.
Good morning.
Good morning again, everybody. Thank you for being with us. I think that everybody here has been in a presentation before, so I will repeat my spiel. Edith, I'll be your timekeeper at about 20 minutes. I will cut you off. You probably won't. And then we'll offer some comments and thoughts and questions for you. So take it away, Edith. And we'll monitor the chat for you.
Of course, thank you. Well, again, my name's Edith, and this is my end of year report from my junior year. Okay. Let me start with what I did this summer, and this bled into the fall as well. I got the opportunity to work with Solidia this summer, and this is a company that does research in cement and SCM. What is SCM? SCM is supplementary cementitious material. And the difference between cement and concrete is that cement is what holds concrete together. So concrete is rock, sand, water, and cement. So I learned a lot here at Solidia. I got a leadership position, I did research, and I created a new family with the coworkers. I think I scratched that research itch that I had that I didn't realize that I had, because everyone does research and I was never interested in it here at UTSA. But when this opportunity fell in my lap, I realized that it was perfect, because what they do is sustainable research. They want to improve the, well, I guess lessen the emissions of carbon from cement and concrete. If you didn't know, cement making is a very hot process, and so 5% of all carbon emissions are due to cement. So being able to make a dent in this way, they're able to reduce 70% of carbon emissions in the cement making process. This was a very repetitive process, as research is. I started off with cement paste in little mixing bowls. Basically, you know, it's like a mixing bowl cake. Interesting how that was $1,000, but the one you buy for your house is like $200. But eventually I moved on to concrete, and this was a lot more labor intensive, because again, cement is a paste and concrete is rock, water, sand. It was a lot of labor every day, showing up, making about 7 concrete pieces, and eventually you get these concrete cylinders that I got to crush in this machine. It was incredibly loud. The anxiety that I got this summer was absolutely insane. But the family that I created with Mike, Tijani, Safe, and Russ was incredible. I mean, we were working every single day, nonstop. Like, it was, we were able to read each other. Just, we didn't even know where we were. It was more like, pass this, pass that, pass that. It was an incredibly dynamic internship, and being able to do the analysis on the research afterwards was also incredible, because they trusted me enough to run the numbers for them, do the work. And although we didn't get to write any papers yet, seeing the beginnings of Solidia is something that I'm going to treasure forever, because I get to see them grow as a company and see the difference that they're making, and say that I was the one that had a role in starting all of it. So along with this, they are PhD students, Safe and Tijani, and they got me pondering graduate school. They told me that I was a very curious person, and that even though I didn't think that I wanted a PhD or master's program, that I really belonged there, which was news to me. But having a PhD is a lot of responsibility from what they told me, but the avenues that they opened up for me, they have connections to UT and other schools, and, you know, having that opportunity and that option open is awesome to have, you know, just if I need it. It's not something that I actually have to pursue. Another huge responsibility that they gave me was creating a rain shower system, and this, what it does is it wets the pavers and then it dries them to see how withstanding they are to changes, rain, dry weather, all of that. And seeing my little, you know, my little sketches go from this to this is about midway through the process was cool, because I got to go home and tell my mom, like, hey, like, I really made something, this is real. And I get to take that with me, put it on my resume, and appreciate the opportunity that they gave me. And they love the product, they use it every day. So it wasn't just busy work as an intern, it was something really valuable to the company. So aside from that, something that also bled in from summer to the fall was training for the triathlon that enrichment funding allowed me to do. So this was in California, and before this, I didn't know how to swim. And mind you, I was a lifeguard when I was 15, so God bless those people. So anyway, this was the first time that I ever went swimming. Putting on that cap was so painful. I ripped all of my hair out. But it was, I mean, I swam 2 laps and I was shocked. It was so hard. But going from that to swimming a full triathlon to swimming across a lake and back and feeling very confident in myself was, I mean, I couldn't believe that I did that. And learning how to bike long distances. This is my boyfriend Josh, this is my friend Sophie. We all did it together, so it was a camaraderie type of thing. And it was in California, and I have a lot of family in California, ironically. So I got to visit them for the first time in 5 or 6 years. So enrichment funding gave me the confidence in myself to build new skills, the opportunity to visit my family, and just a really great time. And it was something that I got to present at the that also gave me leadership opportunities there. Professional development. So Touch a Tech. This is an internship that I'm going to be doing this summer. And the reason why I mentioned it so early on is because I got the internship back in October. I came from Solidia, and I was still with Solidia actually. But I knew that I wanted a change in the summer because I love research, but I don't think I could do it for the rest of my life. It was fun for a summer, and I scratched that itch, but you know, it was over for me. And what Tetra Tech does is they do sustainable solutions to complicated problems. And they do this all around the world with countries all around the world. They don't focus here in the United States. They don't do just Europe. They do work in Africa. They do work in China. They do work everywhere. And I've been researching it more lately. And some of their huge accomplishments is they're #1 in water for 20th year in a row, #1 in environmental management, water treatment / desalinization, wind power, and hydro plants. The #1 thing that I look for in internships is their sustainability. And as soon as you log into Tetra Tech, that's all they talk about. And my favorite thing is that they don't just do projects for people with a lot of money. They do projects with people who need it. So in Africa, they completed a project, quite a few projects actually, where they increased their crop yield, which is something that they wouldn't be able to do themselves because they don't have the knowledge or the skills yet, and you know, and the funding to have these engineers and come do the chemistry and all the engineering to make these crops more successful, and even just providing them with water and hydropower and wind power. It's basically engineers without borders, but they make money. So it's perfect for me. And they even won these awards about in the Climate Change Business Journal. They're big with helping with small businesses. You know, they're a huge corporation, but they're very responsible as a corporation. So I'm very excited. And again, the reason why I mentioned this so early is because I got this internship so early. Sometimes you get the, for lack of a better term, FOMO, fear of missing out. You say, oh, like I committed to this so early, but now I've seen this opportunity, and like, what do I do now? But it was the complete opposite with Tetra Tech. Throughout the semester, both semesters, I kept getting, you know, random points of this is the right place for you. And, you know, I just felt like I fell in the right place early on, and I'm very grateful for it. So the EWB conference in Reno, this was my first conference ever. And it was a lot of making the right connections. We finally met the people that we've been Zooming over from Guatemala. We met them in person. This is one of the representatives who was so kind. How short he is. So cute. We had introduced a global engineering program. He was just a really bubbly guy. Global engineering master's program, which again is Engineers Without Borders, but you continue it on into your master's program. And what is cool about it is it's experiential learning, just like honors college. So you pick a country, you pick a problem. Like, for example, this one country needed water that wasn't salty. And they used the fog from the sea. They built a net, and it took them about 6 weeks. And this net was collecting all the water, and it was running it down to the community. And this is one person, this is one of their master's programs. And they get the funding, well, I guess they paid the master's program, but they get the funding to go for 6 weeks and actually implement this and live with the community and experience that full on. And then I began tips for workshops, fundraisers, and project meetings. So one of the workshops that we did here was the plastic folding workshop, which was super hands-on, very applicable to the projects we're doing. So we replicated that and did it here twice, and it was wildly successful. People loved it, and they came back a second time just to redo it. So about the Global Engineering grad program, after that, I walked out, and I was so inspired. It was a keynote. It's like, oh, this is what I'm here for. And I see this big screen. It has 4 or 5 huge sponsors of Engineers Without Borders. And I didn't know this, but Tetra Tech was one of the largest sponsors for this. And it was more like, wow, I got this internship 2 or 3 months ago, and now I'm hearing that they've been supporting something that I've been very passionate about from the beginning. So I said, wow, this is it. So gambling, they gave us fake chips here, and they allowed us to gamble because I guess they didn't want us to go to the actual like casino, you know, if we're underage. But it was really cool. I mean, we didn't earn any money, but gambling is gambling. It's fun. And that gave us inspiration for casino night. So for Engineers Without Borders, we usually just have a huge engineering barbecue and get all our money from there. But one time during an officer meeting, we were like, oh, like, we all love gambling. What should we do? Maybe we could do a casino night as our like final like hoorah. And it was supposed to be a small thing, you know, like maybe 5-10 people show up and we play some roulette. But it ended up being this large thing where even Dr. Bray, he caught wind of it and he said, oh, I love this idea. Like, you need to have a craps table. And we were like, we don't have the money for a craps table. And he said, don't worry, we'll support you. So Bessie initially was going to support us and like help us plan all of this, but then, you know, apparently gambling isn't a good look on Bessie College, so. But either way, we did a really great job. 50 people attended. We raised $400. We plan to annualize this in the future and maybe have it in the Denman Ballroom to make it this huge activity for even faculty along with students, because I had a lot of professors saying, hey, is this available with professors? Yeah, it was so much fun. And, you know, we tabled for about 4 weeks. So the camaraderie that we had just trying to get this together and having so much fun, it was a great time to see everything come together. And, you know, playing on people's addictions is great for fundraising. Just FYI. So engineering barbecue, this is another huge fundraiser. We worked on this for 5 months. It's 40+ engineering companies. You have to communicate with all of them, keep them happy, which is impossible. What I was in charge of was this trash can. I got it there. We threw trash in it and then it went away. But I was also in charge of running the pumpkin painting. So all of the kids came, all of the professors were like, here's my kid, here you go, bye. I said, great, have a pumpkin. They started painting it. We brought 200 to 300 pumpkins and they were all taken. And it was cool to see. I don't have a picture of it, sadly, but we lined up all the pumpkins on this shelf and they were all so ugly. But, you know, it was like, everyone did their best, you know, all these kids were like going ham on these pumpkins. It was really fun. And a lot of professors that I had, because, you know, it's an engineering barbecue, all the engineering professors go, they came up to me and I was like, oh, I remember having you in my class, like, here's my kid, like, you know. It was an interesting, I like seeing them in a different light, you know, them being parents instead of professors. But along with that, I mean, it was 2 to 3 meetings a week trying to get this organized and getting it to happen. And I don't know if I'm going to help with next year since I'll be abroad, but maybe I'll help during the summer to organize it. It is a lot of work and it's a lot of help for all of engineering works. So, we're talking about Engineers Without Borders, but what have we been doing this and last semester? So the conference got us a long way, a lot of connections that we didn't have previously, but one important connection we made was actually here at UTSA, and it was Dr. Beeson, and she's in charge of the Engineering Projects and Community Service class, EPICS. So what this does is you can use it for your engineering degree as an elective, or if you really try hard, it can be your capstone. And making Engineers Without Borders go from just a club to a club and a course was immensely successful for our progress, because now people have more, you know, stake in the game. Like they had a grade to try to make better, I guess. They had a grade tied on with it. But initially that was the inspiration, but afterwards it was great seeing people become as passionate as I am with the project, you know. And yesterday we had a meeting. I mean, it was like the last week of school, like months ago to a meeting, but they were like, oh, are we gonna meet in the summer? Like, are we gonna get this going? And, you know, seeing that was so satisfying. And every week, Dr. Joseph was there with us in EPICS to guide us and correct our mistakes. And just, we got people from all kinds of disciplines. We have someone from, I think, every different major, biomedical and civil, mechanical, computer. And we've been coding, we've been doing Excel, we've been doing AutoCAD. It's been immense learning, leadership. Project managing this is a huge endeavor, but it's been so worth it. And it's with such great happiness and relief that I say that we're finally about 85% done. And we're going to travel to Guatemala this August to implement this and give the running water to the 250 people in Las Vegas. So, just so happy about that. So what's next? I feel like this year has been the year of tying knots. After this internship this summer, I've pretty much explored every aspect of civil engineering. I've done the structural, I've done the water, the transportation. I'm completing Engineers Without Borders. I'm stepping down as an officer, and giving my reins to somebody else. So, you know, there's this moment of like, what do I do now? You know, where's my energy going to go? So first, I'm going to relax and go on the national parks trip. Maybe 12 days, 5 parks, I believe, and 0 phone. My plan is to take postcards and pens and write postcards to, you know, family, friends. But besides that, I don't want to look at screens. It's getting tiring. So just a quick reset. It'll be fun, Christy. And then Filipino. And a lot of ruminating was, what am I going to do now? You know, like I want to change the path of my senior year. I don't want to do the same thing that I've been doing all 3 years. But I knew that if I had that mentality and I came into the semester regular, it wouldn't happen because I'd be in the same place and I'd end up picking up the same habits. But that's not the case this time around. I'm going to Italy and I'm putting this Italian to work, as I said here. I took an Italian 2 this semester. I skipped Italian 1. And it actually went well. I didn't think that it went well because I don't feel like my Italian is too well, but at the last day of class, Dr. Zalival came up to me. She was like, you skipped Italian 1 and you're in Italian 2 and you're doing so great. And she gave me a certificate of achievement. I didn't even know they gave those still. So I was super happy and it gave me the confidence that I needed to, you know, go to, you know, maybe make friends with the locals, you know, speak some Italian instead of relying on my Spanish or my English. And I'm really excited for this opportunity. I'm completing my capstone in Italy, so even that is another knot being tied. So then I'm coming back my last semester, and what are the lessons that I learned, and how am I going to apply this back to Italy? So what I want to do is more civic engagement here. I mean, I've been doing a lot abroad, you know, in Guatemala and other communities, but I want to explore San Antonio and see how I can help the city that I've grown up in since I was 5. And I'm sure there's a lot of resources, you know, like stages, like Patrick, talk to basically everybody. And I'm really excited to have my energies focused here. And then I really want to reallocate my energy in other ways. You know, like what else am I interested in? I feel like I've learned that I love taking hefty topics and breaking them down into simple steps. So teaching is something that I'm looking into. I don't know kind of in what space yet, but I do know that it's something that I've been passionate about, and I didn't realize that it was something that I liked. Service here, as I said, and I do want to give back to the program. I want to foster that community that a lot of us have been wanting and be more engaged with the younger scholars and even, you know, our own cohort. So that's something that I've looked into, and even most importantly, strengthen relationships with the people that I am with now, and build relationships with people I meet in the future, and maintain them, because I think that's the hardest part, maintaining relationships and keeping them as strong as they once were. It's been a great semester, full of awesome memories. Thank you to everyone who's been a part of it. And thank you guys for coming today. Thank you.
Great job, Edith. I always love your presentations because it's like happens if I know what you're actually doing. So I always feel like at these presentations I get to learn all the cool stuff that you're participating in and being a part of. Let's continue to talk about grad school. What you shared today is a little bit different than what you talked about previously. And you know, I also want you to know it's okay if you say, I'm gonna wait. No, that's okay too. Just don't abandon the idea, right? Completely. If you've not already, I know I've said this to you before, I'm saying it, make sure you review the civic engagement minor. I think some of what you're doing could easily fit into that, and you could add that credential with probably minimal, you know, kind of minimal extra stuff. So let's make sure we discuss that. And I think you have tremendous gifts and you have a lot that you could share. And I love what you're doing in the engineering community. And I'm very happy to hear that you want to help bring younger scholars into that. As a 3rd-year student going into a 4th-year student, you're the model. And you're also this big, giant, intimidating, you know, entity to the little baby scholars, and that's for all of them. That's my message to every student sitting in this room, right? So just remember that mentoring is not just saying I'm available. Mentoring is really you as the older, more mature individual reaching down to that younger student and saying, let me show you how you can do this. Or better yet, come with me to do this because you're doing some pretty cool stuff. And I wonder, you've taken strengths class, right? Is positivity one of your top strengths?
Inclusion, positivity, and something else.
Yeah, I don't ever lose that. That's kind of infectious, that positivity. So thanks for sharing this morning.
Yeah.
Melissa or Fernando?
I just want to say, it's super fascinating to see all the stuff that you're doing. Like you're very intentional with what you do, so that brings a lot of hope. And kind of echoing with Christy, like your positivism is just like, you know, I guess just like showcasing in this presentation. And so I wish we talked more, but definitely I'm super excited to see what you do in Urbino and then what you do your last semester here and what your future plans are going to be. But yeah, grad school, we should look into it. Maybe not down the line, but if you want to teach, I mean, be a faculty. That's it.
Don't make your money first. Don't plan on paying off your mortgage. We're good for university, that's.
Yes, I just love your commitment to the Engineers Without Borders. Something you've done for years, and I think it's a great organization. From what I know of it, I don't know it in detail, but I love their idea and their missions. So, love that you have that commitment.
Margot says, amazing presentation, Edith. I'm so excited for you to go to Urbino, and I really do encourage you to try and connect with the locals. I think it can bring a lot to your international experience. Also super excited for these interests in civic engagement and teaching mentoring. I think you'll excel in these endeavors just like you always do. Best of luck, and I'll miss you. Anybody else? Other folks in the room? Comments?
Yeah.
Myself.
You are just such an impactful person, and I love how everything you do is like for others. And I think that it was evident also like being with you, and I've known you for a while, but being with you in Costa Rica, I'll have you had such an impact on me, just being like a ray of sunshine every day, 6 a.m. We were bungalow mates, running to yoga, and even just like I wouldn't choose any other person to wake up at 3 a.m. for a plane for a shuttle to the airport, because you're just like an amazing person, and I love that you take the light out of everything, and it really inspires me to be the same. I'll miss you.
You had bungalows in that phone camp.
You do it,
At least you had the bungalows in that phone camp.
right? Right. Living lavish.
Living lavish. In the jungle.
You know, sometimes we talk about, where am I supposed to be, and you know, like, what avenue, I have so many paths I could go down. But I think you need to remember that, like, you just have such a heart in you, and wherever you are, like, whatever path you walk down, people are going to love that you're there. Like, we love your company, and I think, like, we're always worried, like, am I gonna, like, fit in the right space? But, like, you are the right space. Does that make sense? Like, you are the person people wanna be around. You're successful in everything you do. So no matter what you choose, like, I'm pretty sure it's not gonna be grad school right now, but like, it's just my opinion. But even if you wanted to do down the line, like, you're gonna be very successful. So.
I really love being your roommate this year and going closer to you. And I was trying to think like during your presentation what to say. And like what Christy said about like your positivity, I was like, yes, like I come home and you really like uplift me and like make me feel good and safe. And I really want to thank you for that. Something I love about you is how like true to yourself and silly you are. Like the comment you made about the shortcut, like and it was really great to like see all you've done. I'm very proud of you. I remember when you were like the engineering barbecue was like killing you, like 3 meetings a week, and you showed me the trash can. You got it. And I'm very proud of you. How you feel like you're tying all the knots and you've done it very well. And I'm very excited for you to go next week.
Have to meet up in Europe.
Eddie, you're so humble in everything you do. Like, I knew you were interning and you were at Engineers Without Borders, but I didn't know, like, you were doing all these things. So we were looking at your pictures yesterday, and it was like you and a bunch of guys. And I was like, that's so, that's my life. Like, I just never visualized you. I just think, like, this is an engineer, like, that's it. But seeing you in those spaces and, like, the pictures that you have with them and, like, you connecting with other people, it just shows how, like, capable and smart and versatile you are. So I'm just very proud of you. I love being your friend. I love talking to you. It's such a light, and I love speaking Spanish with you. And just like I don't know, it's just so nice being your friend. And I'm gonna miss you next semester, but you're gonna have so much fun in Urbino. It's gonna be an experience for sure.
You know, the thing about traveling with all guys is that you get your hotel room. There's no one to share with.
Oh.
Shower when I want, get ready as slow as I want. It's all good. But yes, thank you guys for being.